Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and we are finally back. Rapid Racing League season number 3 has finally returned after a long spell of, I believe, 2 months, around 10 weeks. It is time. RRL has finally returned, and it has been a long time since we've last raced in this league. The last race we competed in was in Mexico. That was back in November, December time, so happy to be back. Unfortunately, I missed the last 2 rounds of last season, but unfortunately those things happen. So we're back, and we finally have some different rule changes coming into this season. Well, first off, number one, the grid is a lot smaller this season. I think the break relatively killed everybody's sort of mood, and due to the small drivers and the big skill gap that we have, realistic performance has been enabled for the foreseeable future until we get more drivers in. So if anybody's watching this video, if they are interested in joining Rapid Racing League, comment down below and we will get you in here as fast as we can. So far Division 1 and realistic performance. So thankfully we have been spoiled and we have been given the Aston Martin for race 1 around Jeddah, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So this is quite a good gift to get a faster car instead of not being in a absolute slow car. But yeah, realistic performance is going to be fun. I've never really done a realistic performance type league, so this is actually really cool to try out, and personally I'm really excited. So speaking of that, only 7 drivers here tonight. Like I said, it's so far right now it's just relatively slow. Until we get more drivers in, we will go back to equal performance, but at the meantime we just have to deal with this. So like I said, if you're interested in joining the league, comment down below. I'll be trying to help get some drivers in here that I know, some good friends of mine, and we'll try to get more drivers on board. So yeah, so far this lap is going pretty well for our first push lap, and so far green per sector, personal best in the middle sector. So it's not the best of laps, but this lap might be okay. Just come across checker flag now, and that's actually a 128.611, so that is actually provisional pole position. So there's your grid. Business Casual, who is in the Aston Martin as well, has returned, and you guys know him. Squirrel has returned. My Master and Fifi the Duck are back as well. They are both in the Williams and the Haas for this round. Realistic performance will relatively change for each race, so this was the first time doing it, so we didn't really know what the skill gap was. So I feel like me and Business up here in P1 and P2 is kind of a bit of an unfair advantage, but you just got to deal with it. So Z46, I don't know if he is a Division 1 driver. I'm not 100% sure. Squirrel obviously is one of the mods, same as Business. Obviously they're back. And however you say the guy's name in 5th place, I'm going to just call him Freeze. Freeze is he is a Division 2 driver coming in to basically run realistic performance with us. But with about like 8 minutes to go, we set at 128.398, so that's actually a really good lap. And only a tenth ahead of Business Casual, so it is relatively close. But you can see that My Master, the defending champion, is about a full second off, and Fifi the Duck 2.3. So the skill gap is definitely a bit too much, and we definitely would need to work on that moving forward. But anyways, for the final push lap here in Q3, and this is going to be a full lap, so we'll take a great look at this. Down into turn 1 and 2, very tricky corners to sort of nail. I'm really sort of inconsistent around this track. Jeddah has never really been one of my favorite tracks. I feel like this is probably one of my weaker circuits out of them all, but if we just connect a good lap, then it's actually really well. So through this fast part, so satisfying to just go through these corners, and thankfully the car is able to stick. We're finally going flat out through there, which I wasn't really too confident if I was going to go flat out, because a lot of the time when I do go flat out through there, I lose the back end a little bit. But so far, getting a 10th. Purple sector once. It's actually a really good lap so far. It's starting to maybe clip the outside wall just a little bit on the exit of the corner. Another 10th up this corner. Very tricky to get right because you got to get really close to the wall to kind of just get the good run. Business Casual now with the 128.3, so he is definitely beatable, I feel like, because we're 10th up, so we could possibly get him on this lap if we make a mistake. Now going down into the fastest part of the one of the most fastest corners around the circuit. That medium high speed type section underneath the hotel where a lot of people tend to make mistakes. And we lost a lot of time actually through there, and now approaching the penultimate corner, the Max Verstappen corner, and we go very wide. We actually pull a Verstappen, and we've actually lost a little bit of time, but we're going to burn all the battery here on the last straight. This might be pole position, as we've gained a 10th now back from that, and it is a 128.270, so that might be pole position. And I think that is because Squirrel did not actually go out, or he might have went out, and he didn't really improve his time. So, yeah, there we go, pole position in race 1, so that felt pretty good. Biz Casual P2, Z46 P3, Freeze in 4th, Scroll in 5th, My Master 6th, and then Fifi the Duck in 7th. So that's your grid, only 7 cars. Hopefully the next race we will have a relatively more bigger field per se, and that would be awesome. But 25 laps around Jeddah. We're going to go for the one stop. Medium to hard seems to be the best strat, I feel like, and that's always been, I feel like, the OP strat this season. There are a couple tracks where it's actually good to start on the hard tire and then go on the medium, but we're going to go medium to hard. I feel like everybody is going to be doing that. Some people might go aggressive on the soft tire. It just kind of depends who's going to go for it. My master, he looks like he might be going soft tires. I'm not 100% sure. It just depends on what he's going to do. So if he does, I mean, he's going to want to make up a lot of positions. Fifi might go and start the race on hards, and he might just try to go to the end of the race as he can. So that might be a bit interesting to watch. But we go for the 5 red lights here around Jeddah, 25 laps. Welcome back, RRL, and lights out, and away we go. And we actually got a pretty bad start. It was not really a good launch off the line. Business got a really good launch down into number 1. We go very wide through the corner. Was just trying to make sure I gave Business enough room. And thankfully, well, he's actually kind of lost out the Z46 a little bit as well. So they're battling for P2, as we are now going to try to start, pull a little bit of a gap behind, maybe try to get a second out of here, even though I feel like Business will just climb that all the way back up. If you have been tuning into the NAM streams, you can see how quick he is. But yeah, so it just kind of depends. But so far, pretty good launch off the line. Z46 now still, he did get ahead of Business, so that's actually really good for him. And obviously, I've never raced against this guy, so he's actually pretty damn good if he was able to get up in a P2. So obviously that Red Bull is by far the fastest car in the game, which I thought it was the McLaren, but I guess I assumed wrong. And yeah, so Business, he is relatively in the slipstream, and he's actually got right back ahead of Z46, and actually they helped him out quite a bit because he's able to pull 1 second, obviously falling through the slipstream. So we're going to lead lap 1 of this race. So pretty good start, no mistakes really. Tend to make mistakes on the first lap, but actually doing pretty well. So I'm pretty happy with this. And as we approach now down into lap 2, Business now has crawled all those tenths back, and he's actually now gaining right back into the position that where he was. And well, obviously for good reasons, I guess you could say. And we have a VSC deployed. I believe Z46 has actually just binned it in the inside wall. So obviously that corner is catching out a lot of people, because I still see a lot of people make those mistakes, and unfortunately someone has bit the curb, and Freeze has already have a 10-second time penalty. So I don't know what he did, but he must have absolutely cut a corner, or he must have done something crazy, diabolical. We'll just keep it short like that. And lap 3 now, Business in the DRS 310s. He's probably going to get us here on this straight. You can see the amount of run that he has. And Business now moves up into P3, not P3, P2, or P1, I apologize, Jesus Christ. And it's lap 3. Getting back into the rhythm here, I guess you could say. But Business ahead, Scroll 2.2, and My Master 3.3. So the gap to him and Scroll's a bit low, obviously, at the point. I mean, My Master is doing everything he can in that Williams, but unfortunately, it's just the car is not that quick enough, especially when you're in a Williams that is trash. But we have another VSC deployed. I believe Freeze has just binned it, so both Red Bull drivers have just said, "Alright, we out later." So both have crashed into the inside wall, and VSC deployed, and VSC now ending now on the main straightaway we go. So hey, whatever, and we're back. So no full safety, so quite of a clutch, but yeah, so this is probably going to be the battle for the race win here, because it seems like it's going to be an Aston Martin type battle, it seems like. And lap 4 now of this race, we're in the DRS of Business Casual, and I guess at this point we're going to be trying to do some DRS sharing, and also just kind of pulling a gap behind from Squirrel. Now Squirrel does have some pretty good pace in that Merc, so I feel like he could catch up maybe towards the end if he kind of gets a rhythm on, but ultimately we're surprised at this Aston, which I feel like the Aston and Mercedes are relatively close in performance. when I did my test, I think the Williams, I think not the Williams, I think the Mercedes was slightly ahead of the Aston, so I think maybe the Ferrari would have been a little bit better for Squirrel, because I feel like he probably would have had more of an advantage, I feel like, on the straights, but I like I said, I'm not 100% sure how everything has changed since we did the realistic performance test on this channel. I think that's been a couple months back, so that's just how it is. But back to the action, lap 5. Business back in the DRS, and he pulls right back around us, and we will have the DRS for this corner. Massive lockup for the Aston Martin driver, and to be fair, flat spot's not really going to bother him too much, so he can keep on going, and we're going to get the DRS right back on business. So we're probably going to try to get around him here. He is harvesting a little bit, and he's actually going to defend the inside line, so I guess we're going to have a little bit of some battling. I guess the battling won't be too bad. We're 3.4 behind. And the gap between my master is 9 seconds, and Fifi is 2 seconds behind my master. So both those guys, they definitely need some support, because they are not enjoying themselves in those absolute horrendous pieces of crap of cars that they are in. Let's just keep it like that. But lap 7 now, and actually speaking of lap 7, this is a pretty good lap for us, because actually we might get around business, but fortunately we did not. So we're gonna try to get him on the main straight. So maybe we get him on the main straight. Obviously, to be fair, we don't want to fight too hard, because we don't want to really have Scroll get us right back into the position. But I think if we DRS here, we can actually probably pull away. But Business is gonna fight this around the outside, and he does back out. So fortunately, we were able to sort of stay calm. And now Squirrel is now having a 3-second time penalty. So that must suck, and especially at Jeddah, where you don't really tend to get time penalties like that, but because the track is so, like, depends on how you hit your curves, because a lot of the times you can just go out very wide, and that could just bite you out with the track limits penalty. So it's really crappy, I guess you could say. But Business moves right back up into P1, and yeah, that's honestly, this is literally the whole race. I mean, it's just overtaking left and right. I mean, if you come to see how to watch Aston Martin drivers DRS share, this is literally how you do it. And unfortunately, I could launch Stroll him if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that, because I'm an excellent team player. And to be fair, I've never actually teamed up with Business. Now, if we watch Business Casual from Season 1, he has improved quite a lot, and I am proud of him, because this boy has been cooking me in NAMs, and he's now cooking me. Well, I guess me and him are on par at this race, but he has relatively gotten a lot quicker over Season 1, so it is good to see that Business has sort of took a step up, which is actually pretty cool to see, so I am happy for him. But lap 11 now. Business might overtake us on the main straight. Yes, he does, and like I said, he just gets the DRS, and he just probably burns the battery to kind of get ahead, and well, he has overtaken us again. So lap 11. Pit window has opened. He might go into the pits this lap. Hoping I can go in, but if he goes in first, we're going to stay out, and he's going to go in. So we're going to stay out a little bit. We're not really going to just double stack. It just seems pointless, and especially double stacking is just not worth it. And Scroll now has 6 seconds worth of penalties, so quite unfortunate for him. My master 16 seconds behind. Business is actually behind. He's going to be behind my master, so my master still has to pit. Now, he will pit for the hard tires, like everybody else. And hoping maybe he can hold them up, but hopefully we can actually get ahead of both of them on the pit straight. It depends on what my master's pace is in the Williams, but pit window has now opened. We bucks this lap. We need a good stop from the green team, and thankfully the better green team out of them all, 2.4, so not a bad stop. Squirrels also came in as well. My master might actually take the lead of this race, because he has not pitted. He's actually stayed out. So yes, he does, and Business is actually right behind him, so this is actually good for us. We can actually stay right behind Business and try to sort of catch up to that gap. So if we can relatively stay close with my master, that'll be if we can stay close with my master and Business, we can overtake him, because my master still is going to have to pit. That is going to hopefully set us up for a pretty exciting finish here in RRL. But a yellow flag behind Scroll's actually out, and he's actually hit the wall on the inside, and now a full safety car has been deployed. So you must have really, to be fair, that's happened twice now, and it seems like the only way to get a safety car in this game is you really have to they have to smack the wall because Z46 and Freeze did that, and no safety cars were deployed. But when a Squirrel does it, it seems like it just decides to deploy safety cars. So this game is very inconsistent. But pit window was open, and actually, we're pitting because we're going to go right back onto the medium tires. Obviously, we have a fresh set of mediums, so why not pit? And I like how they just unrealised the game, but just playing. And, well, we're going to pit for mediums. My master's going to be on the hard tires. Fifi is probably going to pit as well. He's actually a full lap behind, so poor Fifi in that poor Haas. I feel bad for him. F in the chat for Fifi. Alright, let's have a moment of silence for him, because I feel bad for him. I feel bad for my master, too. I feel bad for all these guys. We definitely messed up on the performance chart. We were kind of going by championship standings, and I think I fell off from, like, 2nd to, like, 8th at the end of the season, so maybe that's why, and I think Business was behind me. So we kind of went off that. So next race, we'll kind of have more of a wiggle room and more of an understanding of where all the faster guys and what slower cars we're going to be in. So it's a privilege to drive for Aston for this race only, and probably for this race only, unless we get like 10,000 Max Verstappens in here. But green flag is back out. My Master in control. So my Master could take Williams to glory in this race. This is like the definition of Carlos Sainz leading the Jeddah, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, I guess you could say. And he's had a big moment around the around that fast part of the track. I don't know if he lost the back end or what, but that car absolutely just said later. And we're going to actually try to go around the outside of my Master through this part of the track. And around the outside we go. Business does have a little bit of a lockup there, and we're still fighting for these positions. So this is actually a great battle for P2. My Master's obviously not going to give out. That's the defending champion, and we get ahead of my Master. So actually, that was a really good battle there. Had a lot of fun with that. And now we're going to have the run on Business. We got a lot better of an exit than what Business did, and it worked out ultimately. So here we go around the outside. My Master with the absolute of a rocket ship in the straight line. That Williams does tend to have some pretty good straight line speed, I guess you could say. And that is doing a relatively really good job. Business gets right back around with another lockup in that part of the track. And we're going to have a decent run on the main straight. I don't think we'll have the speed to get him because I didn't think the exit was that good. But actually, burning the overtake, it's actually working quite a bit. So Biz is going to have he's going to go around the outside. I'm going to stay on the inside line. And he goes out very wide with another lockup. Put him under pressure there. We get a track limits warning. That is actually the second one of the day. So one more. We're 40-ounce bounce. And we're going to try to go around the outside. We're going to go down the inside of Business Casual here. And the front end would not bite whatsoever. And the front end just, it would not bite anywhere around this track at all. And we get right back ahead of Business. So that was a pretty close battle. And, well, thankfully we were able to relatively stay ahead. So that's actually pretty good. But my Master still within the DRS range. So it's actually, he is relatively staying very close to us. As Business is going to have the DRS here on this straight. We'll see what happens down this main straight. Depends on if he's going to go for it or he's going to stay back behind on the main straight. But here comes Business Casual now with an absolute monster of a run does the Aston Martin driver has. He's going to have the outside line. We're going to have the inside line. And so far he's going to get ahead. So good battle with Business there. That was quite fun. And maybe just tapped him a little bit in the diffuser area. So some launch stroll tactics are already coming into play. And Business now is charging the battery. He probably burned a lot on that main part of the track. And we tend to sort of manage and kind of, the way I race, I kind of tend to save the battery a lot for the race. And I brake very early there. I am not even 100% sure why. Convinced I'm washed maybe? I don't know. But yeah, honestly the battery usage is actually trying to relatively keep it so I have enough battery, because I sort of like to play conservative. As Business is going to go around the outside, he's got the inside line now, and he's gonna, oh, he's still staying in there, and he backs out finally. But I do tend to play very conservative with my battery because I don't want to really burn up too much. I kind of want to save it towards the end of the race when we have all that momentum and just have that momentum and everything. So that'll ultimately be good for us. But as you can see now, Business with a monster run on the main straight here is now, my match is actually falling 1 point second out. So he's actually out of DRS range, but he could probably get that back if he gets close enough. And Business moves right back up into P1, and we sit P2. My Master and Fifi are, well, I think I can't see if you're okay. No, Squirrel has 16 seconds. I was like, what in the world was that? He's out of this race. Speaking of time penalties, we got one. Too many warnings. Too many off-track excursions. So Launch Stroll form has kicked in, and well, we did have one at turn 1, which is actually pretty stupid because I do tend to cut that corner a lot, which I still don't understand why. And then the last 2 times, I think it was the same corner that bought us out. It just happened. So it's going to be tough here because my master so far, he's still time penalty free. So I don't know how many warnings he's on, and well, maybe we can try to pull a gap. We're going to need to see the ultimate sweat mode engaged. Now, I believe business casual has front wing damage. Now, I don't know where he got that from. I don't know if it was from the contact from lap 17. I'm not 100% sure what happened. So I'm just I don't know. I don't know how he has front wing damage, but he does have some damage. And lap 22 now, ultimate sweat mode has engaged, so we're gonna have to absolutely drive our ass off to pull 3 seconds. I think it is possible. Like I said, I really felt very comfortable within this Aston, and to be fair, I mean, the car is pretty good, but overall, I mean, it kind of sort of suits the way that I drive, so I can be really smooth with the inputs, and the car is able to just bite compared to some of the other cars where it just makes it difficult, I guess you could say. I mean, we gotta probably enjoy it because, you know, next race probably gonna be in the goddamn green Saubers, so I'm not looking forward to that one. But 2 seconds now. It is close. It's basically 2 seconds from business casual, so we could get it here if we just keep on hitting our marks and just absolutely doing the best we can. Full focus mode has actually been engaged, and probably one of the best races I've driven when it comes to trying to pull away from 3 seconds. So, like I said, I mean, I just have a lot of confidence within the car. I can actually trust it a lot compared to my RB last year, where it was not realistic performance, it was equal performance, and I was just uncomfortable with it. Now, speaking of when realistic performance, or when equal performance comes back, yeah, I re-signed with RB for no reason. So there's your answer. Last lap now, back to the action. 2.6 now. I think we actually could get 3 seconds here from business casual. I think it's gonna be I think it's definitely done because he's really gonna struggle through this high speed part of the track. And you can see right there, 3.4, 3.5. So we were able to hold off business. I had a really good battle with him. I'm proud of him for just putting in the effort that he has in the game, because he is definitely going to be a world champ in this league, because I definitely could see him being a champ. So, but yeah, race 1, car felt good. Qualifying was good. I wouldn't call it really, you could relatively call it a clean sweep if you want, but I think this might be one of the first clean sweeps I've had in a minute, and that is a P1 here in Jeddah. So we win race 1 here in Rapid Racing League, and 1.2 seconds is the gap behind with the 3-second time penalty. So what a race that was. At a track where I tend to not really show my best of form, we were able to relatively hit our marks really well and absolutely do a great job. So I'm happy. Jeddah, you are starting to grow on me just a little bit, because you're still not one of my favorite tracks, and I still mean that by heart. As much as I love the track in real life, it is still a terrible track to drive for me because I just suck at it. But yeah, what a race. First win, second win actually in RRL, the first one actually coming in Japan, so this is actually another one. We did fortunately have heartbreak in Mexico, if you guys remember that race, where my master ruined all my hopes and dreams of getting a P1. So that was a heartbreaking one, but it's good to get a win here, and it's good to win, and so we can keep this momentum going forward. So next race, I'm not 100% sure what car we're going to be in. It's going to see on who's in the lobby and the skill gap issues and everybody like that. So I believe the winner will be in a Sauber for the next race. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of next race, it's going to be Austria. I actually had to miss Belgium because I was actually competing in Bathurst. So yeah, I don't know what car we're going to be in for Austria. So we could be in a Sauber, we could be in a Haas, we could be in a Williams. I don't know. But that's all for me today, y'all. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good rest of your weekend. Have a good day. And I will see y'all in the next one.